Hey everybody, it's Darnell Crittenden from DC and Epsom Power Players. Whatever you do, keep playing your games. Hit the like, hit the comment, hit subscribe, leave your notification on so you not miss DTV at its best. This is D's Word of the Night for Monday, February 10th, 2025. Right now, the Spotty 09 show is at, give me 1 second, I'm going to give y'all the full total right now. Just bear with me for the next couple of seconds. We're at 846 subscribers. To all my 846 subscribers, thank you so very much, but the quest still continues. Let's try to get that 855, 855, 855, 855, 855 subscribers. Let's try to get that between now and the end of this month. We're so close because once we get that 855, we definitely soon gonna have to push for that 900 mark. But before we do that, let me just quench my thirst. And again, shout out goes out to the dangerous one himself, DDG, Dangerous Danny Garcia. Last year, he got me this Naruto T-shirt. This is actually my first time wearing it. I said, you know what? I'm gonna wear it on the show tonight. But that's not the reason why I'm here tonight. The word of the night, and it's been on my mind over the weekend. I want to get it out right here, right now. Better yet, not only will I tell you the word, I might as well show you the word. The word of the night is this: PlayStation. Okay? PlayStation. Wow, what can I say about PlayStation? Sony is one of the most innovative products for years. Been a Sony fan for years. In fact, I've been a Sony fan for a very long time. And again, shout out goes out to the PlayStation Network, to the PlayStation community, to the people at Sony, both Sony Japan and Sony of America. Why is I'm talking about PlayStation tonight? Well, for those who don't know, over the weekend, I think last Saturday, I believe, and let me check to see what date that was. Last Saturday, I'm gonna look through my calendar right quick, and I'm doing everything from both tablets right now. Last Saturday was February 8th, and I was gonna do a shout out Saturday on February the 8th, but unfortunately I had to go to work. I said maybe if I come home and I'll do a show, and I was on YouTube because all this is going through my head. I was on YouTube. And again, I want to give a shout out to Tyrone Magnus. Okay, I've been a huge fan of his show. I've been watching Tyrone Magnus for a little bit, almost close to like 8 years now. All right, again, shout out goes out to him. Big fan of his show. And he was saying that the PlayStation Network was down because he couldn't get on. He couldn't do anything. And I wasn't saying he wasn't lying, but I was like, nah, I didn't want to believe it. I'm not saying he wasn't telling the truth in anything. But usually, when I watch his show, sometimes whether it's Tyrone Magnus or Struggle Nation or whoever, uh, they usually be on point. So I'm like, well, out of curiosity, let me just check. And sure enough, my PlayStation 4, my PlayStation 5, anything that has that logo on it was down. And it turns out on February 8th, that was on a Saturday, that the PlayStation site was down for 24 hours. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even, it was stuff that I wanted to buy, and I couldn't even buy it. And let everybody know right now, this ain't the first time this happened. This actually the second time. The first time that the PlayStation site was down, okay, I think that was like around September of the year 1988. That's when the PlayStation site was first down, and it was down for 30 days. In year 2025, last weekend, it was down 24 hours. So I ain't tripping. I mean, I'm glad it was 24 hours rather than 30 days. And when that happened back at that time, years ago, um, I think we was on either the PlayStation 3 or 4 at the time. I think I was on, yeah, I think I was somewhere on the 3, about to trans session into 4. But nonetheless, it was down. Okay, and right now, I've been seeing this, and I just did a previous show on this last month. The problem with PlayStation, it's not the product. Let's get that out the way now. It's not the product. It's, I'm just gonna call it like I see it. It's the trollers. It's the hackers. It's the spammers. And most important thing of all, and this is something they really need to address besides all that, it's the servers. And as long as you got the trollers, the hackers, the spammers, the servers, it's not, they're getting to it. What really makes me angry the most, this is reason why we have to pay for their mistakes. We have to pay for as far as the membership. I don't mind paying for the membership if it's going to keep me online, but I'm not about to pay for the membership and ain't nothing being addressed towards that. In other words, they taking advantage on both sides of the field. They taking advantages as far as the consumers, as far as the customers, as far as people that support that logo, that support that brand. And you guys, I'm not saying you're not doing your job, but at the same time, you're not doing it enough, because sooner or later this is gonna happen again. I don't want to jinx it. I can't say when, but you get what you pay for. But at the same time, there's an old saying: the customer's always right. But in this case, the customer's right on this one. I've been a supporter of PlayStation for a long time. I'm gonna let you, in fact, let's take a trip down on the Spidey_09 time machine as soon as I quench my thirst. Let's go back to the year. Not trying to make this boring, but I'm going to make this brief and understand it. Before there was a PlayStation 1 through 5, before there was a Portal, before there was a PlayStation Portable, we're going to go way back into the Spidey '09, back down memory lane time machine. And before it was that, September 30th, 1979, before we even had a video game by Sony, the first, or at least one of the first products they made, it wasn't this. It wasn't a PlayStation 5 controller. It wasn't any of that. The first thing Sony made, September 30th, 1979, believe it or not, it was this. Oh, you can't see it? I'm sorry. I'll blow it up for you. It was that. The very first Sony Walkman. For the next few moments, I want y'all to look at that. That was the first thing they made. In 1978, it was made in Japan, all over in Japan. A year later, in 79, it came to the United States. In 1980, it was all around the world. Spotty '09, how do you know so much about this? Not going to make it too boring. Let me explain. Before all the cool stuff Sony made as far as video games, the first thing they made, or at least one of the first products they made, was the Sony Walkman. What is the Walkman? I'm glad you asked. Before we had smartphones, which you can do everything on here, which I think that's cool, the Walkman was around the time where, because I was in high school, and I'll tell you right now, if you was a high school kid back from 79 all the way to the mid 80s, everybody had one of those, especially the teenagers. Back then, we called them the cool kids. We called them the jocks. We called them, believe it or not, the mean girls, the preppies, the nerds, wizards. We all had one thing in common. That. What does it do? I'll tell you what it does. It plays music, AM, FM, and it was a cassette player. And you had these little wire headphones that you put inside. Believe it or not, it wasn't no bigger than this. And you put it in your pocket. And if you was any one of those kids, you had one. Me, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't have one. I did not have a Sony Walkman. I've heard of Sony, I have heard of the Walkman, never owned one. Never, and the reason why, not because I couldn't afford one, because the way I listened to my music back then, especially if you was a kid in the mid 80s back then, whether if it was Run DMC, the Fat Boys, LL Cool J, the Beastie Boys, Eric B. and Rakim, Houdini, Big Daddy Kane, the list goes on and on. I had one of those big, I don't know if y'all saw Spike Lee do the right thing. I had one of those big Radio Raheem radios, one of the big, huge jokers that takes over a dozen batteries and then you can plug it in the wall. I had one of those. I had one of those tape cassettes, and it had the big woofers, and you can listen to the music, and you got to carry this thing around with two hands. I had one of those. Now, don't get me wrong. I could have had one of those, but it's just that I want to have the beat of my own drum, so to speak. But nonetheless, if you had a boom box back then, you can have a house party even off a boom box. But that's another story for another time. But I never had one of those. I'll blow it up again. This is one of the first products that Sony made. All right. And, we're going to go and check out some more others. Not only was that one of the first Sony Walkmans, they also made this. This is called the Sony Sportsman. Now, the difference with that, it was AM. I'll close the screen for a second. It was AM, FM, waterproof, and you can listen to a lot of sports channels. That product was also made by Sony back then. And they made one other Sony Walkman. I liked that one because it was waterproof. Okay. And it was this one right here. The black Sony Walkman. The only difference is no difference. I think the only small difference with that, it didn't have the radio features on there, but you could put your cassettes in, play it, but it had mega bass. So, if you hear some music off of it, it was in mega bass. Then they made another model of the Sony Walkman, which to this day, I still don't like it. I wouldn't get it even if I had the money. And that's this one right here. The little slim model. It's no bigger than a micro USB. If you got a computer, you can download the tracks or whatever. You put your little headphones in and you listen to it. I think this came out somewhere in the early 2000s. I think 2000 and between 2008 and 2012. I think that came out. But here's the best part. Didn't buy none of these. But let's get back to the Sony Walkman right quick, and I'm going to end this argument. And that's this right here. Everybody that was a cool kid, doesn't matter what kind of category you're in, it doesn't matter if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior. If you were a teenager back then, as far as those times I just mentioned, everybody except me had a Sony Walkman. Now later, I ain't gonna lie, I had a JVC, close enough, but it wasn't as close as a Sony Walkman. And then at that time, Sony wasn't even thinking about video games. They were so busy into music, which ain't nothing wrong with it. Music is a universal language, and everybody enjoyed it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, my brother had one, my neighbors had one. I was the only one that had one. Like I said, I want to be different than everybody else. Had a boom box, kick it, have fun, you name it, break dance, whatever. But I had fun. That was one of the first products that Sony made. Okay, as the years go down the line, this is where the birth of video games come in with Sony. And I'm about to show you right now was one of the first games that Sony ever made, and one of their rarest games. And before I explain that game right now, the Sony PlayStation 1, the first one, okay, it really came out in the year 1988. That's when it came out. The very first Sony the PlayStation 1. And out of all the games, okay, the first game I bought, don't have it now. I wish I had it. It's called Battle Arena Toshinden. That was one of Sony's first games they ever made. Battle Arena Toshinden is kind of like Sony's version of Tekken. So anybody and their mama know what Tekken is, think of it as Sony version of that. And I used to play this game all the time. In fact, this is one of my favorite games that I ever loved on PlayStation. Okay. And, you know, we had this game. We played it. Me and my friends, we played it all the time. And then we played it to the point where, man, I'm ready to play something else. And that game, what I'm about to talk to right now, that's one of my favorite games. But the second favorite game I played back on PlayStation 1 was this, Twisted Metal. And if you were a PlayStation fan back then, in the mid 1988s, Twisted Metal was just as popular as Battle Arena Toshinden. What is Twisted Metal? I'll be glad to explain it to you. It's like, man, it's like a crazy Mad Max Thunderdome kind of smash 'em and bash 'em. You know, you racing around trying to blow each other up. Okay. And you got a lot of characters, a lot of cars on there. My favorite one, I'll blow it up right now. Everybody know who Sweet Tooth is. You had Sweet Tooth, you had Roadkill. My favorite character on Twisted Metal was Mr. Grimm. Mr. Grimm ride around in this motorcycle with a sidecar, with a doggone Gatling machine gun sticking out the sidecar, and I'll admit, he wasn't the most, defensive little guy out there, but he had the most best speed and agile, and with a machine gun, he was hard to catch, but man, after a few tries, you want to take down something bigger than you, he gets the job done. But in any case, Twisted Metal was one of my most second favorite games on PlayStation 1. And then years came out, they made Twisted Metal 2, Twisted Metal Black, the list goes on and on. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, as far as the birth of PlayStation, it did not come from this. It actually came from the Walkman. Walkman started making music, as far as, for everybody to hear. And then later, around the year 1988, that's when the Sony PlayStation 1 first came out. I didn't get my PlayStation 1 until really after 89. And then when PlayStation 2 came out, so far and so forth. In other words, long story short, Sony got real big after the Walkman came out. Now, to get the original Walkman to this day, if you still have it, especially that blue one I showed you, it's worth a lot of money. Now, how much, I don't know, but it's definitely, especially if you have the very first original one, I'm pretty sure it's worth a lot of money. Okay, now, I don't know if they still make these things. I doubt it, not unless you go to Japan. Or not, even if you did order it, even if you can still buy it, I'm pretty sure it's still worth a lot of money. But I guess what I'm trying to say is Sony has came a long, long way as far as where they at now. All right, let me just put this back up one more time as far as the Sony logo. So now you know a little history on how Sony began as far as from music to gaming. And right now, the Sony Corporation is one of the most biggest corporations in the world. You got three of the biggest titans. I take that back. They're not titans. I'm gonna borrow this word, and I don't want to use this word too many times. They're not titans. They're not giants. They're kaiju's. And three of the biggest kaiju's in the gaming world right now. Number one, Nintendo. Nintendo been around way longer than Sony, way longer than Xbox, and to this day they are still the granddaddy of all video games. All of them, you name it, I don't care what they're still the granddaddy. First Nintendo, all right, then PlayStation, and then year later, I think maybe after PlayStation 2, that's when Xbox was born. Okay. How do I know all this? Because I'm the godfather of video games. Okay. And I study. All right. I actually really study. And now, as the years go by, from one all the way up to five, me, that's one thing about me, I don't praise no game. I do respect it. All right. And out of the most credible gaming systems I've ever owned, I think my most favorite one right now would be, I'm gonna tell you the truth, would be my three. I still sometimes I do miss playing my PlayStation 3, and actually my 3, 4, and 5. I'm just gonna be truthful about that. Okay, but I gave you guys a brief history on how PlayStation really started from my visual point of view until where we are at now. I said on my last previous show, and I'm gonna say it again. I love the PlayStation product. I'm gonna be a PlayStation man to the day I die. I'm gonna be a Nintendo man to the day I die. Xbox, it's kind of 50-50 with me. And I've been saying this for the longest. And I just said this recently on a show last month. In a way, I'm glad it happened. In a way, I'm glad it didn't happen. In a way, I'm glad because I'd rather for it to be 24 hours than 30 days. In a way, I'm glad it. In a way, I'm glad it happened. In a way, I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad it happened now because I would have hated for next month when WWE 2K25 come out and this happens. It would be more, what the word I'm trying to look for, a catastrophe. Nobody wants that. And I'm going to address this out to PlayStation right now. PlayStation, network, communities, Sony of Japan and America. Been a huge fan of you guys for years. For starters, I want to give thanks to the PlayStation community. I also want to give thanks to the YouTube community. Okay, thank you. All right. But at the same time, something's got to be done. Not only as I'm speaking for myself, I'm speaking for everybody as far as who's watching this show. I'm speaking to as far as the viewers, for the subscribers, to the gamers, to everybody. As I said before, I'm gonna use my favorite catchphrase: from across the sun and around the moon. I'm speaking for all of them right now. Uh, you guys are doing a great job, but at the same time, y'all also got to get it together, man. You know, as far as what's going on over there, and I say that for a reason. We pay way too much money to you guys. Okay, you think I'm not a supporter? I got one of these. I got one of these. Everything I just mentioned, all the systems, got them. Okay, but what I'm really trying to say is, and I mentioned this ideal once before. Sony, NASA, and again, shout out goes out to the WWE Corporation, the WWE Universe, the WWE Enterprises. Triple H is still the man. TKO Enterprises, to the final boss. Rock is a beast. Got nothing but love for you. To those gaming companies, people at Rockstar Games, Capcom, Konami, you name it. WB Studios, the guys who made Mortal Kombat. All of y'all need to join forces for the first time in your life. Join forces and get rid of some of these problems. Get rid of the trollers. Get rid of the spammers. Definitely get rid of the hackers. And last but not least, the servers. Hate to say it, that ain't enough. I got one answer: satellite. Get a satellite. And the only way, not trying to give these hackers an idea, the only way they're going to hack something like that, unless they got over $1 billion supercomputer that can match that, good luck. But until then, it's time to get a satellite. Here's the reason why. If I'm going to keep paying every year to support you guys, not just me, I speak for everybody, and this keeps happening, who for say our accounts ain't safe? Who for say for every time we put our accounts in, as far as our credit card information or whatever the situation may be, it ain't safe. And I don't want to give no bad reputation, nothing like that. But then again, you got to admit, history have repeated itself not once but twice. In 1988 and now in 2025. And the only way that's going to be done, you know, if we put money in you guys, that means we trust you guys. That means you guys are the best, and we love your product. But if you want the customers to keep coming back with you guys, to earn public trust with you guys, believe me, come this year, it will be 20 years of security for me. And here's my ideas, like I told you once before. One, satellite. Seriously, you guys and the people I mentioned need a satellite. It's space. I don't think you can do too much wrong in space. Not unless you got a space shuttle and you fly up there, or not less, you got a super $1 billion computer at home that can match that, maybe. But until then, satellite. Two, I've said this on my last previous shows as far as what are my ideals for WWE 2K25 is another topic for another time. Or any other game. Start having face recognition so the gamers can take selfies and add it along with their email additional information so everything can be tracked. Three, last but not least, if they get caught, the people I mentioned, they need to pay a fine. All right, what's the fine? Want to keep that satellite up there? $20. Start off at 200. I'm saying these things because You know, y'all can think it over. It might be a bad idea. The worstest thing can happen. The two things can happen out of all this. The worstest thing can happen if it don't work, or the worstest thing can happen if you don't put it to attempt that it can work. It's crazy. We paying you guys. We're paying you for every game, for every controller, for every accessory, for every unit. And don't be surprised you guys are working on PlayStation 6 right now as we speak. For every subscription, you know, we doing it. You know, and I don't want to borrow this from the WWE as far as their catchphrase. You know, y'all want to. This is just goes. You know, y'all want to do what's best for business, or that's anybody. Y'all guys want to do what's best for business. But sometimes it's best to do what's right for business. And right now, I will say my advice to this right now: satellite. And if you run with the ideal, you guys have my email address. You check it at the end of this show. Okay, you guys can leave a contact number. You can contact me. We can sit down and we can talk about this, because right now the future of technology is evolving. Anytime you jump from a Sony Walkman, which very few little people ever heard of back then, until now, one of the most greatest dominating systems of all right now is by Sony. And if you want to stay ahead of the competition right now, you know, you got to protect your customers. You know, especially if you guys making money off of us every year. Because the gaming industry and the movie industry, they both got one thing in common: entertainment. The entertainment business is booming. All right. And if you guys want to stay ahead of the competition, if you guys want to keep your customers at bay, if you guys want to keep, you know, being the biggest cash cow in the gaming industry of all, if you want us to keep staying on your side, we all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Hell, I ain't perfect either. But I'm glad it was under 24 hours. But at the same time, you know, you don't want to keep going through that either. And I'm telling you right now, and again, this message goes out to Sony of Japan and Sony of America. Love you guys. But at the same time, you know, y'all really seriously need to think that over, man. For real. Straight up. Because y'all got the power, y'all got the way, y'all got the stroke. Sit down. Sit at the table. Okay? Sit in a boardroom. I don't care whatever it is you got to do. Somebody need to talk to you guys. Somebody need to sit back, have a board meeting. I don't care what y'all got to do. Y'all can sit back, whatever. Get some coffee, Krispy Kremes. I don't care whatever it is you got to do. But somebody, all y'all need to sit down at the table. Y'all need to sit down with this corporation. Somebody need to sit down and have a representative from this corporation. Somebody need to have NASA in the room. Somebody need to all just sit down. That's the problem with the world right now. We ain't got enough scientists in the world. We ain't got enough brains in the world. Somebody need to just sit down and think. How are we going to still earn the public's trust, but at the same time still make money? Here's the answer. You guys might think what's best for business. You guys also want to think what's right for business. But sometimes, if you don't listen to the consumers, like guys like me, and right now, I can't even tell you how ridiculous my gaming collection is right now. But if you guys don't start listening to the people, for the people, and by the people, you ain't gonna get no money from none of the people. Give me 30 seconds and I'll be right back. All right. Straight up. Because it's crazy. It is. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Darn it. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, that's really what need to be done. Seriously. So again, I'm glad that was resolved. In fact, I'm so glad that's resolved. That's why I'm thanking PlayStation personally myself right now. Thank you. Now, usually I do all my broadcasting from here. Okay, I do my D's Word of the Night. I do a show middle of the week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Depends on what part of the day it is, whether it's day, afternoon, or evening. Now my weekend shows, like my Happy Time Friday, shout outs Saturday, and updates, and my Family Time Sunday. Those shows are on the weekends and they run randomly. But the rest of the week, you get my Monday through Thursday shows. You know, if that makes any sense. There is one particular show that I do every month. I'm going to get that off my chest right now. It is called State of Direction. Now, usually I do a State of Direction once every month. Now, because right now, where the show is going in the direction right now, we're at 846 subscribers. I want to do one at the end of this month, but because of what we've been through as far as not having service on the PlayStation Network, I say, you know what? Because we got new viewers, and you know we've already suffered enough as it is because we couldn't get no gaming done. I couldn't do some of the things I can do. Nobody's not at fault. I'm about to do something in the history of DC Networks and Power Plays as far as my state of direction is concerned. As of right now, because of what we went through, the unnecessary issues, but now because that's resolved, I think that's only fair as of right now. And I don't normally do this, but in this case, I'll make a fair exception effective immediately starting right now of February 1st for this 1 month only. There will be no state of direction. You heard me. So as of right now for the month of February, for this month only, and I'm doing this because, you know, this is my way of saying, you know, out of good grace, I'm glad we back. So I'm doing this for the new viewers. I'm doing this for those who went through that tragic like everybody else on Saturday as far as, you know, what we have to go through knowing that we ain't had no service. So the least I can do is, I wouldn't say show gratitude or mercy, but just show a little thoughtful meaning behind all this. I say, you know what? Right now, for the month of February, you guys are getting all the other shows already in progress except State of Direction. There will be no State of Direction at all for the month of February due to the crisis we went through on the PlayStation Network. So this is my way of saying, you know, we're going to get through this. Now, however, after the end of February, as soon as WWE 2K25 comes out, the state of direction will be rescheduled and we will have one in March. So get ready for it. But for now, think of this as a little brief holiday from me. Now keep in mind, we ain't gonna have a state of direction every February and not have one. No, this is just a one-time thing. Only way that happens again if we ever go through this crisis again. But for now, a man of my word, no state of direction. All right? This is my way of saying we gonna heal. But come March, it's on. So again, PlayStation, thank you for correcting the problem. Thank you. But I meant what I said. You guys seriously need to take the time out and think of my advice. Because technology is evolving, the world is evolving, you know, and the world, not so much as far as in the world of gaming, is that we need answers. It's time we need results. At least think about it. And if you like the idea, hey, my email's at the end of this show. You guys got a contact number? I will contact you back. If you guys want to come to Chicago and holler at me, send me an email. If you guys feel we need to talk and put this presentation all in one room to make this possible, let's make it happen. It's space. How can you go wrong? Because it's as long as it's here on Earth, I put it like this. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I sure in the hell ain't the dumbest. You're going to have a harder time trying to hack that damn thing from space. And excuse my state of direction. That's why I'm breaking it for this 1 month only. But at the same time, I still have to keep myself within a respectful and presidential act of, in other words, keep my emotions in check. If y'all can make this work, okay? If you guys got servers, okay, you're gonna get to them in space. I guess what I'm trying to say is they're gonna catch more hell trying to do everything from space than they do down here with these servers. I'm telling you. I mean, think it over. And that is a huge step to think over. And then I guess you guys looking at me right now. What is this guy talking about? No. See, the sad part about it, you guys might think I'm wrong. The scary part about it, what if I'm right? You know, I'm going to use a Star Trek phrase that they've been saying this years, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Well, I got a catchphrase of my own. To boldly go where no man has never done before. All right? That's what it's all about. Take my advice. Put it into consideration. The servers, you're making it too easy for the people I mentioned. You're making it too easy for the trollers, the hackers, the the spammers. Okay, and then at the end of every year, we have to pay for our membership. Okay, to me, that's wrong. Okay, that ain't best for business. That ain't right for business. That ain't good for the consumer. Hell, that ain't even good for me. But yet, y'all want to get your money. But you got to understand something. Without us, that brand, I don't care what part of the world it's from, it won't exist. So to keep that brand, do what's, I got one, do what's humble for business. Run it the way you want it. That's your logo, not mine. All I gotta do is respect it. But if you want, keep that cash cow fat. Hit me up. Hit me up. And then you gotta think, what if it does work? Psh. If it does work, we'll talk. We will talk. All right. So again, PlayStation, YouTube network. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for just hearing me out. And I'll tell you, like I tell the rest of my viewers out there, I'm just the name, the face. I got to pay the internet and cable bill in less than 2 more weeks. The 80% are you guys. I'm doing the 20% of all. I'm making sure that on my side of the end, I'm keeping this running. I'm making sure on my side of the end that I make sure PlayStation uh pay my, that I'm paying my network every year. I'm doing on my side of the end to make sure I get new release games. In other words, long story short, my 20% is a lot harder than you guys' 80%. I'm trying to keep everything on, trying to keep everything in order. 80%, this is the 80% I expect from you guys. Sub to the show. Leaving comments on the show. Leaving ideals on the show. And my favorite catchphrase, what do you want to see on the Spotty 09 show? All right. That's one of my catchphrases. And my other catchphrase, when I want to get serious, and I've been saying it right now, and this is my newest catchphrase of 2025 that I came up for myself. I strike fast and I hit hard. And that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you guys right now. So Sony, love you guys, but I'm telling you right now, it's time to strike fast, hit hard, for the hard-working Americans and then everybody around the world to stand behind you and try to resolve this to the point where we all can be enjoyable with the Sony family. Because we're not the bad guys. The bad guys are the ones I just mentioned. Okay? You guys are the heroes here. Believe it or not, you guys are the heroes. But at the same time, you gotta give us a symbol. You gotta give us a symbol of hope besides that. And I'm telling you, the answer is satellite and face recognition. And we go from there. So I've said enough about that. And speaking of games, let's get back onto the games right now. We're gonna get this out the way. Let's see. And speaking of video games, the new WWE 2K25 will be released March 14th. Now, if you guys pre-order it from GameStop, you can get this game 7 days early. I pre-ordered mine from GameStop. Now, I'm still, use my catchphrase, I'm digging through I got so many catchphrases, just mine that I came up with. I'm digging through the trenches, I'm swimming through the mud, I'm going through the oceans as far as when is the other box covers coming out. We don't know if they're going to be digital or not. But Roman Reigns, he's definitely going to be on one of the basic box covers. That's one. The second one will be, give me a second, because I'm doing everything from my tablet. And that will be the Undertaker collection. Okay. All this is coming out on March 14th. Now the third one, all right, would be, give me a second. Here it is. The Bloodline collection. Now keep in mind, guys, you guys got really less than what? A month and a half. So if you haven't pre-ordered it now. I got a pizza here. When I get the chance, I'm going to put it in the microwave. It's probably still cold. I'll reheat it back up. Okay, so that's what's going on. All right, get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to be online before you know it. We go from there. Next, on D's Word of the Night, we're going to talk about movies right quick. Okay, for starters, I got to get this out the way right now because I'm seeing that this week. Captain America's Brave New World. And that will be released on Valentine's Day. Now, I got to work on Valentine's Day. I don't know if I'm going to do a Valentine's Day show or not. But yeah, That's gonna come out. Okay, the date on that poster is wrong, but the date I did mention, February 14th, is right. So you got Harrison Ford, who played President slash General Ross, okay, and the Red Hulk. Anthony Mackie, who plays the Falcon, Captain America. I've seen the trailer for this, and this looks amazing. This looks incredible. I am going to see that this week. Leave in the comments and let me know if you guys are going to see Captain America's Brave New World. Next on the movie list, because I'm about to wrap this up in a minute. All right. And don't forget, Valentine's Day is this Friday. I got to work. But nonetheless, if you want to wish your significant other, I don't care if it's your girlfriend, wife, whoever, you want to wish them a Valentine's Day. And for me, if you got a love of your life and you care about them so much, I think every day should be Valentine's Day. It depends on how much you really care about that person. So, yeah. So, let you know, everybody in advance, happy Valentine's Day early in advance, just in case if I don't do a show Friday. From all of us from DCNX and Power Players. Next, we're going to speed it up a little bit. Now back into the movie department. Only in theaters, June 27, Megan 2.0. Yes, the crazy. Yes, I ain't gonna lie, she's probably more crazy than Chucky yet. But the crazy doll is back. I've got the first Megan on home video. Now here's the thing, because I'm gonna make this brief. I don't like horror movies. The first Megan I tripped out on, and now am I ready to see the second Megan? Yeah, I probably would. So I am waiting for June 27th of this year to see Megan 2.0. I think that's going to be amazing. But this is Marvel's year. So I got some movies on my list. Captain America's Brave New World. Later in June, you got Megan 2.0. But the real big topic right now that I really want to see of this year, and it's coming around the summer, and I'm talking about the Fantastic Four first steps. Okay, you got my boy in there, Pedro Pascal. He played in Gladiator, played in a lot of movies. He gonna play Mr. Fantastic. And then you got Vanessa Kirby. She gonna play Invisible Girl. Susan Storm, aka slash, Susan Richards. I don't know who the other two actors is that's gonna play the Thing and the Human Torch. But I have seen the trailer for it. I like it because it goes back that 1960 slash early 60 kind of view in it. It looks amazing. And then to bring back this, to bring this movie out, Marvel First Steps, because this is like, keep in mind, this is Marvel's first family of superheroes. I'm a Marvel fan. I mean, I like all the characters on there. I think my favorite one is the Thing, because I really want to see what the Thing can do. And this movie will be released. In fact, it should be coming out this summer. Now, as far as the release date, let me get another shovel so I can dig a little bit deeper as far as on the release date. But as soon as I find out any word on when is it coming out only in theaters, you get to hear from me live on DCN Presents Power Players. And leave in the comments and let me know two things. One, is it going to be a day one for you guys to see Fantastic Four's first step? And two, who's your favorite character? Who is your favorite character in the Fantastic Four? Is it Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Girl, Human Torch, Thing? Mine's, I love all of them, but mine's is the Thing. I'm not going to lie to you. Leave in comments. Okay? That's important. All right. One more thing I got to do before I go. We're going to get this out the way right now. Actually, there's two more things I need to do before I go. All right. Once I find it. Yeah, I found it. And if this is your birthday month of February 10th, 2025, happy birthday from all of us from DC and with some power players. My next guest is, do I give out birthday shout outs? Yes, I do. One, you have to sub to the show. Two, you leave in a comment. Three, if I see in the comments as far as the day of or the day after, I will give you a shout out again live on DCN Presents Power Players. Okay, let's keep it going. All right. And don't forget, in April, I might not get mine. What I'm about to show you right now, I might not get this product probably until the end of the year. And that is the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I figure after WWE 2K24, that's going to hold me over for a while. You'd be surprised. I got way more than enough stuff to hold me over for a while. Now, the Nintendo Switch 2 will be released April 2nd. From what I heard, it has a bigger screen. The Joy-Cons a little bit bigger. In other words, how should I put it? In fact, I'll do one better than that. I might as well explain you the comparison rather than just, I can just show you. That's what I was trying to say at first. And I'll explain it. Play Nintendo Switch exclusive games as well as Nintendo. Oh, correction, I'm going too fast. Play Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games as well as Nintendo Switch games. Nintendo Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Nintendo Switch games. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. Details will be shared on the Nintendo website at a later date. As you can see, the one on the left is like a 7-inch screen. The one on the right is like between an 8 and a 9-inch screen. It probably ain't no bigger than a PlayStation Portal, if you can kind of visualize that. But yeah, so it will play most of the cartridge-based games. Now, as far as digital, again, it's a gamble. It all depends, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna iron all that out probably after the game comes out. I guess you guys' next question is I'm going to get a Nintendo Switch 2 in April? Yes and no. No, I don't want to get it in April. Again, my hands is full. Yes, if I do decide to get one, I would say around the holidays, because something like this, I wouldn't be surprised if they come up with a bundle pack. Now, if they come up with a bundle pack where I can get this and the game or whatever it is, yeah, I'll buy it. But for now, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not saying I'm not gonna buy it, but something tell me just play my cards right and say no, Spidey. When they come out with a bundle kit, buy it. That's how I'm gonna do it. But until then, and only then, in the meantime, in between time, I can wait. Trust me, I can wait. And once I get it, you get to see it on the show. Okay. Then we go put up the banner. Oh, no, not Marvel Rivals. Wait. I was almost about to put that up there. Hold on. I'm looking for my banner. Okay, hold on. I'm about to pull it up right now. Give me a second. There it is. The robot buddy on break. Well, that's about it. I want to get that out the way. I'm glad you guys took the time and information, so I can share that with everybody. And I'm going to give out final shout outs right quick before I end my show. To the president and co-founder of DCN Networks presents Power Players, Sean the Genius Harris, and everybody at the Harrison headquarters on the south side of Chicago. Shout outs out to you, to Sean's sister April. They both the king and queen of anime. And if you want to check out anime, go to DCN Networks presents Anime Club on Facebook. Not only does he do some exclusive anime information, he's also the official Godzilla expert for all your Godzilla essential needs. That's DCN Anime Club on Facebook, and it'll be under the name Sean Bolland. That's SeanBolland. You can also check out Sean Bolland here on YouTube. Same name, SeanBolland. Sean Bolland. Both on YouTube and Facebook. Now, the difference is when Sean is on YouTube, that's at random. You don't see him as much as me, but he's also, again, he's the president and co-founder of DCN Networks. You can check out his show on, certain stuff. Depends on how you want to compare each other between me and him, but nonetheless, check it out, especially on Facebook if you want to check out some more exclusive information on anything, and I mean anything that's anime. I don't care what it is. He got it. If he ain't got it, trust me, he won't take him long to find it. All right. Okay, so shout out goes out to him, to my West Side family, the Redmond. Shout out goes out to you guys. To my immediate family, Crittens and Cologne, Johnson and Millsap. Shout out goes out to you. Who else? To everybody north of Sheffield Common. Officer D is off tonight. I will be back Friday. Protect them all from the forces of evil. To Jonathan Ware, uh, Chase, Ernie, my West Side brethren. Shout out goes out to you guys. Who else? To the Dangerous One himself, DDG, Dangerous Danny Garcia. Shout out goes out to you. To my other brother, Alex the Lone Wolf Thorne. Shout out goes out to you. To the Guru, Larry Leonard at the Larry Leonard headquarters on the south side of Chicago. When we get the chance, we're going to talk, brother. Straight up. We are going to talk. Shout out goes out to you. And if I leave anybody out, leave in comments. I'll check it out. We go from there. And that's about it. Is anybody else? Oh, yeah. To my close friend Margie Vallejo, shout outs out to you. To love of my life, Demetri Gann Johnson, the future Mrs. Crittenden out in Gary and Hobart, Indiana. Uh, her grandkids, like my future grandkids, love you guys to death. Shout outs out to you. To my other best friend, Maria and Morgan Cambridge, shout out to you. I miss you guys. I'm glad you guys came and checked on me and make sure my health was okay. That is very well appreciated. Love you guys for that. Thank you so very, very much. And to the whole staff at Peace Coffee, I don't know what game I'm going to play tonight. I haven't decided. I'm leaning more towards Red Dead Redemption 2. If not, it's going to be Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero. It's going to be one of them. I can guarantee you that. Or I might just get on some Marvel Rivals with Adam Warlock and start handling my business like I always do. Leave in the comments on what certain games you guys want me to play. If I don't have it in my collection, give me a hot minute, but I will try to find it. All right. Just give me some time, okay? Well, I'm about to end this show right now. I went past the timer. My time is up. We're going to go here in 3, 2, 1. And if you hear that music, that means my D's word of the night, February 10th, 2025, has come to a closure and its final destination. Well, that is it. And please Tell everybody about the show. I don't care who you tell. Tell your family, your friends, your neighbor, whoever. I don't care. Your co-worker. You know, you know the pizza delivery guy. I don't care who the hell you tell. Let everybody know. Like it or not, we're so close to get to that 1,000 mark, and we're even more closer to get that 855. DCN presents Power Players. It will be the number one show on YouTube, on PlayStation, mind you, and immediately following on Facebook. All right, I'm about to end this show. I'm gonna have to warm up my pizza one more time and sit back and chill. Haven't decided what game I'm gonna play, but if I do, you'll see me back on here again either tonight or first thing in the morning. But guys, thank you for your time. And again, shout out goes out to the PlayStation community, the corporation, just for hearing me out. That's well of a huge blessing. Thank you. And if I left anybody out of the comments or whatever, please leave something back in the comments. Any ideals, strategies, or whatever it is we got to do to make this show stronger, then that's what we're going to do. I'm out of here. It's Darnell Crittenden from DC Networks and Power Players. Whatever you do, keep playing your games. I'll talk to everybody later and later. Peace. Until next time, Chicago. Until next time, the world. Is Darnell Crittenden from DC Networks and Power Players. Whatever you do, keep playing your games. I talk to everybody later and later. Public service announcement to Chicago, to the world. I say it on every show. Get used to it. Please put those guns down. That means a lot. It really does. For all you know, you might be saving my life or somebody else's. Put those guns down for your own benefit.